Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining today. And if someone can just put a reminder in the I Am Sangha group that the session has begun, that would be great. Thank you. So let's do the invocation and we can discuss chapter 21 of the third canto today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. So everyone, Anil Singh Prabhu, Anuradha Mataji, Bhuvaneshwari Mataji, Ian Prabhu, Manjula Mataji, Bhada Prabhu, Padma Mataji, Philip Ramlal Prabhu, Shankar Prabhu, and Ujjwal Mataji. So let's let me share the screen so we can discuss chapter 21 today. So Madhav Kumar Prabhu mentioned that he will be a little late today. He's doing some service. So let's read the chapter. Shankar Prabhu, if you can read first 12 verses of the chapter, this chapter, that would be great.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hold on.
Text 1. Vidura, shall I read, Prabhuji, now?
Yeah, please.
Yes. Text 1. Vidura said, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed. O worshipful sage, I beg you, give me an account of this race whose progeny multiplied through sexual intercourse. Text 2. The two great sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, ruled the world, consisting of 7 islands, just according to religious principles. Text 3. O holy Brahmana, O sinless one, you have spoken of his daughter, known by the name Devahuti, as the wife of the sage Kardama, the lord of created beings. Text 4. How many offspring did that great yogi beget through the princess who was endowed with 8-fold perfection in the yoga principles? Oh, pray tell me this, for I am eager to hear it. Text 5. O holy sage, tell me how the worshipful Ruchi and Daksha, the son of Brahma, generated children after securing as their wives the other 2 daughters of Swayambhuva Manu. Text 6. The great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahma to beget children in the worlds, the worshipful Kardama Muni practiced penance on the bank of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years. Text 7. During that period of penance, the sage Kardama, by worship through devotional service in trance, propitiated the personality of God, who is the quick bestower of all blessings upon those who flee to him for protection. Text 8. Then in the Satya Yuga, the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, showed himself to that Kardama Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. Text 9. Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from material contamination in his eternal form, effulgent like the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord was clad in spotless yellow silk, and his lotus face was fringed with slick, dark locks of curly hair. Text 10. Adorned with a crown and earrings, he held his characteristic conch, disc, and mace in three of his hands, and a white lily in the fourth. He glanced about in a happy, smiling mood, whose sight captivates the hearts of all devotees. Text 11. A golden streak on his chest, the famous Kaustuba gem, suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sorry, one more. I beg your pardon.
Okay, text 12. When Kardama Muni actually realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead in person, he was greatly satisfied because his transcendental desire was fulfilled. He fell on the ground with his head bowed to offer obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. His heart naturally full of love of God, with folded hands, he satisfied the Lord with prayers. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So Hare Krishna. So apologies, we we couldn't have the session last Thursday, but I still have cough following the episode of COVID, but last week was a little more severe than this week. Still it is there, but I thought we can manage it. I think it will take some time to completely go away. So that's why we couldn't have last week, but here we are. So hoping to complete this chapter 21 of third canto. So this third canto, we began with Vidura Maitreya's discussion. We know that Vidura left Hastinapur following the misconduct of Duryodhan. So he left Hastinapur and he decided to go on a pilgrimage. So when things are not going to according to our plan, then we simply just go on a pilgrimage, or simply open the book Srimad Bhagavatam, read it, and hear some katha. So that's what Vidura did. He went on pilgrimage, and then where on the bank of Yamuna, he met Uddhav, a very close associate of Lord Krishna, and then so you had nice discussion with Uddhav. He heard about the departure of the Lord from Uddhav, and also some glories of the Lord. And Uddhav directed Vidura to Maitreya, who was living on the bank of Ganges. And Vidura asked a number of questions. So initially there was there were questions concerning the creation of this material world, and while describing the creation, then he mentioned how Lord Brahma created various beings, and even after creating a different living entities, the world was not populated enough. The procreation was not going according to his plan, and at last he created from his body two personalities, male and female. And the male personality was known as Swayambhu Manu. He was the first Manu in this day of Brahma. And we are currently in the 7th Manvantara. The first Manu was Swayambhu Manu. So he created Swayambhu Manu along with his wife Shatarupa from his own body. So Swayambhu Manu was ordered to populate the entire world, but however, when he looked down, the earth was submerged in the waters of Garbhodaka Ocean. So Swayambhu Manu requested Brahma to retrieve the earth from the Garbhodaka waters. While Brahma was contemplating what to do, a boar appeared from his nostril, and that is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Varaha. And so he went into the waters and he picked up the earth and put it in its place, in its orbit. While describing that, Maitreya also described another pastime of Varahadev that occurred in the 6th Manvantara, Chakshusha Manvantara. Chakshusha Manvantara, where Lord Varaha had actually killed Hiranyaksha. And that story we discussed in several chapters, how the Vaikunta gatekeepers Jai and Vijay got cursed from Kumaras. Then they entered the womb of Diti as demonic personalities, and then how Lord Varaha had eventually killed the demon Hiranyaksha. And so now back to Swayambhu Manu. So Vidura now he asks, okay, there was a deroute, but now back to the original point. Yes, Brahma created Swayambhu Manu, Shatarupa, and so the question he had was, so he had two sons, Swayambhu Manu, and three daughters. Two sons, the names of two sons were mentioned, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. So Uttanapad's name was very familiar to all of us. He had two wives, Suniti and Surichi, and his son, Uttanapad's son, was actually Dhruva Maharaj. We know that Dhruva attained the pole star, Dhruva planet. So Priyavrata is not known to many people, but this Priyavrata, he had actually divided entire Bhumandala into 7 portions. Because of him, the 7 islands were formed. We will discuss this in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's, he has got 3 daughters, Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. They had 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, and 3 daughters, Devahuti, Akuti, and Prashuti. So Devahuti was given in marriage of Kardama Muni, handed over to Kardama Muni. And Ruchi, the sons of Brahma, Ruchi and Daksha. Ruchi was given Akuti, and Daksha was given Prasuti. So, and he was, here Vidura was mainly focusing on one of the daughters of this Manu, Swayambhu Manu, named Devahuti, his wife of Kardama. So he was just mentioning about that. And how many children they created. And so he was inquiring about Kardama and Devahuti. So and then sage Maitreya, he mentions that Kardama is also son of Lord Brahma, and he was ordered by Lord Brahma to beget children. And so to beget children, what did he do? Kardamuni, he went to the bank of river Saraswati. And how long he meditated for? 10,000 years. And so he worshipped the Lord. In his meditation, he worshipped. He thought he was meditating on the form of the Lord. He was not meditating on the shunya or nothingness, emptiness. But when in his meditation, he was worshipping, he was seeing the Lord, he was focusing on the form of the Lord. How long was that? For 10,000 years. And where was it? This was on the bank of river Saraswati. This is what he did to get married. Here, these days, to find a girl or a boy, so you just pick one. Go to nightclub or wherever, any social event, you pick up one. But here, he just did not do anything. He just went and practiced meditation for 10,000 years. So it's a good idea always for any activity that we want to do, that we worship the Lord, we take the blessings of the Lord and then perform it. Why was he doing it? Because he wanted a suitable girl, so that they are of same mentality. So then the practice becomes easy, isn't it? If they are of same mentality, they have same cultural background, if they have same goals and aims, then the life becomes easy. The married life goes smoothly. That's the reason he doesn't want to pick up a partner just like that. He thought, let me worship. And let me worship the Lord, so I will get a suitable partner. That was his mood. And we also mentioned one point about that he did not just take any form and worship, but while he was meditating, he focused on the form of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes some important thing about this in the text 8. Let us read that. Let me share the screen and we'll read text 8. Anuradha Mataji, would you like to read the text 8 purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol.
Right, okay. Here 2 points are very significant. The first is that Kardama Muni attained success by yoga practice in the beginning of the Satya Yuga, when people used to live for 100,000 years. Kardama Muni attained success, and the Lord, being pleased with him, showed him his form, which is not imaginary. Sometimes the impersonalists recommend that one can arbitrarily concentrate one's mind on some form he imagines or which pleases him. But here it is very clearly said that the form which the Lord showed to Kartama Muni by his divine grace is described in the Vedic literature. Sabdam Brahma, the forms of the Lord are clearly indicated in the Vedic literature. Kardama Muni did not discover any imaginary form of the Lord. As alleged by rascals, he actually saw the eternal, blissful, and transcendental form of the Lord.
Yeah, so we discussed that the form of the Lord is mentioned in the Vedas. There is a description so if you want to meditate on the Lord, then we have to, follow that is given in the Vedas. Whatever he had meditated, whatever he had meditated on, and that is the form he saw. Prabhupada nicely mentions that. So after meditating such long time, then he saw the personality of the Godhead. And it is given how he took the darshan of the Lord. And Kardama saw the Lord effulgent like the sun, garlanded with white lotuses and water lilies, and he wore yellow silk garments and his lotus face was surrounded by dark clouds, dark locks of hair. And the Lord, adorned with a crown and earrings, he was holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, and white lily, and having a smiling glance, captivating the devotees. Endowed with Srivatsa, there was a Srivatsa mark on his chest, and there was a jewel called Kaustubha. He wore, and he stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. And then Kardama immediately became overwhelmed when he saw the Lord, and he was extremely joyous, and he with folded on, he offered his obeisances. He felt like a stick, and then he offered prayers to the Lord. So let me show a couple of pictures here. So this one here. So this is this is a picture. So where Lord Vishnu was coming on, riding Garuda. So, and here, this picture, the clarity is not so good, but you can see that this is the river, river Saraswati. Kardama was here meditating on the bank of river Saraswati, and Lord Vishnu was standing on the Garuda. So you can probably Google and see a better picture quality there. So let's see what were the prayers offered by Kardama Muni. So let's read from 13 to 21. So I will ask now Padma Mataji, if you are around. Are you okay, Padma Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Didn't hear you for a while now. You've been quite quiet, huh?
I've been listening, Prabhuji.
That's a good one, isn't it? Better listen. Text 13 to 21.
Thank you. Text 13. The great sage Kardama said, O supreme wonderful Lord, my power of sight is now fulfilled, having attained the greatest perfection of the sight of you, who are the reservoir of all existence. Through many successive births of deep meditation, advanced yogis aspire to see your transcendental form. Text 14. Your lotus feet are the true vessel to take one across the ocean of mundane essence. Only persons deprived of their intelligence by the spell of the deluding energy will worship those feet with a view to attain the trivial and momentary pleasures of the senses, which even persons rotting in hell can attain. However, O my Lord, you are so kind that you bestow mercy even upon them. Text 15. Therefore, desiring to marry a girl of like disposition, who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in my married life, to satisfy my lustful desire, I too have sought the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of everything, for you are like a desire tree. Text 16. O my Lord, you are the master and leader of all living entities. Under your direction, all conditioned souls, as if bound by rope, are constantly engaged in satisfying their desires. Following them, O embodiment of religion, I also bear oblations for you who are eternal time. Text 17. However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs are who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities in discussions with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of the material body. Text 18. Your wheel, which has 3 naves, rotates around the axis of the imperishable Brahman. It has 13 spokes, 360 joints, 6 rims, and numberless leaves carved upon it. Though its revolutions cut short the lifespan of the entire creation, this wheel of tremendous velocity cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. Text 19. My dear Lord, you alone create the universes, O personality of Godhead. Desiring to create these universes, you create them, maintain them, and again wind them up by your own energies, which are under the control of your second energy called Yogamaya, just as a spider creates a cobweb by its own energy and again winds it up. Text 20. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of gross and subtle elements just for our sensual satisfaction. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with a splendid wreath of tulsi leaves. Text 21. I continuously offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet, of which it is worthy to take shelter, because you shower all benedictions on the insignificant. To give all living entities detachment from fruitive activities by realizing you, you have expanded these material worlds by your own energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Padma Mataji. Appreciate.
Okay.
So, so we have seen in the previous section that Kardama Muni was performing austerities on the bank of river Saraswati, and he did that for 10,000 years. This happened in Satya Yuga. At that time, people used to live for 100,000 years. And so, and he had the darshan of the Lord we had seen. And we had described how Lord had appeared to him. And we also mentioned that the main purpose of his austerity was to find a suitable goal, and a suitable goal for marriage. So So here and in this section, so after seeing the Lord, he completely became overjoyous and fell like a rod and offered obeisances and started offering prayers. And the first one he mentions that, seeing you is the perfection of eyes. So that's the first one he mentions in text 13. My power of sight is now fulfilled, having attained the greatest perfection of the sight of you. So, so we should use our eyes as much as possible to see the form of the Lord. But we are in this material world. Unfortunately, we have to see with these eyes so many things, unfortunately. But whenever possible, wherever possible, as much as possible, we should see the form of the Lord with these eyes. And that is the perfection of the power of the sight. Perfection of the sight. And he mentions that, oh my Lord, your lotus feet are like a boat. And this boat, if we take shelter of this boat, we can easily cross over this ocean of material existence. What is the material existence? Material existence is nothing but birth and death, birth and death. It goes forever. But however, if we take shelter of your lotus feet, which are compared to a boat in this material ocean, we can easily cross over. We can escape this birth and death. But not knowing this truth, the less intelligent people, they worship you for material things. You can actually award much better things. Much better thing, the best thing, samsiddhim, super perfection of a human being is going back to the spiritual world. That is the super perfection or ultimate perfection of this human form of the life. That you can award. However, the less intelligent people, they only worship you for the material desires. I am also like them. He was humble here when he offered this prayer. Oh my Lord, I am also like them, one of them. I am also less intelligent because I am desiring to marry a girl of like disposition. I am also, just for a material thing, because I want a wife. I am, worshipping you. And then, he says, but actually, why am I doing this? Because Lord Brahma ordered me to populate, to produce children. It's not my desire, but actually, my father, Lord Brahma, had ordered me to do this service, produce children. But indirectly, who ordered Lord Brahma? It's you who ordered the Lord Brahma to populate this world. Lord Brahma ordered me, but you ordered the Lord Brahma. Ultimately, it is your wish that this world should be populated. I am trying to fulfill your desire, my Lord. And we will read one prayer, text 17 we will read. So you offer a number of prayers. So for us also, yes, for every we should not worship the Lord for simple material things. From this, we should understand. So text 17, here it is said, however, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities in discussion with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of this material life. So that means simply discussing katha. Parasparam. Parasparam means with one another. Tvad, yours. Gunavada sidhu. Gunavada, your qualities. And sidhu is intoxicated. The devotees of the Lord are also getting intoxicated. Don't think that only the materialists are getting intoxicated by taking alcohol and wine, etc. But the devotees, they drink the nectarian pastimes of the Lord, discussing with one another. And they become mattha, mad, intoxicated, a pure devotees of the Lord, 24/7. We are not at that level. But if they do this, discussing with one another is very, very, very important. It is mentioned many times. Parasparam. So with one another, devotees should discuss and drink the nectarian pastimes through the ear holes. And this is rasayana, it's chemical. And this is panacea. Panacea. It is used in the medicine or in pharmacology, this term, panacea, means cure for all. So this rasayana, this chemical of hearing about the Lord and his activities acts as a panacea, cure for all. Piyusha. Piyusha niryapita deha dharmaha. So what happened to them? They can be free from the necessities of this material body. So eventually that means they will be liberated. So it's a long purport. We don't have time, but if you want to go and read, you can read this text 17 purport. It's simply, it's the essence is that simply hearing about the Lord, discussing about the pastimes of the Lord, one can be completely free from this material condition of life. Okay, so, and those were the prayers offered by Kardama Muni, and then Lord speaks. So that is from text 22 to 32, please. I'll ask someone. Let me see, who should I ask? Those who have not read in the past. Hamsini Mataji, it's been a while. Are you able to read?
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yes, I will.
Haribol. Text 22 to 32, please.
Can you push it up the screen? Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Maitreya resumed sincerely. I'll try and get into a better position. Maitreya resumed, sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection. This text 23, the Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline. Text 24, the Lord continued, my dear Rishi, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. Text 25. The Emperor Swayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over the earth with its 7 oceans. Text 26. The day after tomorrow, O Brahmana, that celebrated emperor, who is expert in religious activities, will come here with his queen, Satyarupa, wishing to see you. Text 27. He has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage, and she has good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver their daughter as your wife. Text 28. That princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. Text 29. She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget, the sages will duly beget children. At my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me. Text 31. Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self as well as all the universes in me and myself in you. Text 32. O great sage, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahuti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories. Hare Krishna. I think that's correct.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. But yes, that's right. So, so here, Lord then spoke after Kardama Muni offered prayers. So Lord started speaking, and he said that day after tomorrow, the Emperor Swayambhu Manu, who is ruling the earth, sitting in a place called Brahmavarta. We will discuss this in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The earth, Bhumandala, is quite big, and the planet Earth that we are living is only fraction of that entire Bhumandala. It's only tiny fraction of that entire Bhumandala, Earth, that is also called Earth. And at the time of Maharaj Parikshit, they used to travel from this planet Earth that we are living in and to the other planets, other earthly planets. But now we do not have any access to other earthly planets. The other earthly planets are also called Bhauma Swarga, earthly heavens. Earthly heavens. There is a heaven up there. That's a different heaven. But there is an earthly heaven. Ours is not earthly heaven. The planet we are living in is not an earthly heaven. So Brahmavarta is another earthly heaven. Generally in earthly heaven, people live up to fixed duration of life, 10,000 years. We don't know what is our duration of life here on this earthly planet, but their duration is fixed. So, and he was ruling entire earth by sitting in a place called Brahmavarta. And he will come with his wife along with his daughter Devahuti. She's very beautiful and she's very suitable to you. And she's the kind of girl that you're thinking of. And they will hand over their good daughter Devahuti to you. And you will produce 9 daughters in our womb. And then I will appear as your son through her, and I will instruct my mother Devahuti, and you will leave home and go to the forest and achieve perfection of your life. This is what mentioned by the Lord. Let's see. Yeah, let's read the purport. One of these purports, text 28. We should hopefully take another 5 minutes, extra 5 minutes, and complete probably. We have 10 minutes. Let's see. So text 28. So here it says that princess or holy sage will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all those long years. She will be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. So let's read the purport. So who did this section? Hamsini Mataji? Are you there? Yeah, you can. Please.
The Lord awards all benedictions according to the heart's desire of a devotee. So the Lord informed Kardamuni, the girl who is coming to be married with you is a princess, the daughter of Emperor Swayambhuva, and so just suitable for your purpose. Only by God's grace can one get a nice wife, just as he desires. Similarly, it is only by God's grace that a girl gets a husband suitable to her heart. Thus it is said that if we pray to the Supreme Lord in every transaction of our material existence, everything will be done very nicely and just suitable to our heart's desire. In other words, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on his decision. Man proposes, God disposes. The fulfillment of desires, therefore, should be entrusted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the nicest solution. Kardamuni desired only a wife, but because he was a devotee of the Lord selected a wife for him, who was the emperor's daughter, a princess. Thus Kardamuni got a wife beyond his expectation. If we depend on the choice of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will receive benedictions in greater opulence than we desire. It is also significantly noted here that Kardamuni was a Brahman, whereas Emperor Swayambhuva was a Kshatriya. Therefore, the intercaste marriage was current even in those days. The system was that a Brahmana could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but a Kshatriya could not marry the daughter of a Brahmana. We have evidences from the history of the Vedic age that Sukracharya offered his daughter to Maharaj Yayati, but the king had to refuse the marriage of the daughter of a Brahmana. Only with the special permission of a Brahmana could they marry. Thus, intercaste marriage was not prohibited in the olden days, many millions of years ago, but there was a regular system of social behavior. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So in other words, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on his decision. Man proposes, God disposes. The fulfillment of desires, therefore, should be entrusted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the nicest solution. So I like this purport, and so I thought I would, ask someone to read. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. So that is from 43 to 44, please. Let me see.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can read.
You can read? Okay, sure.
Thank
So
you.
at least we know that you are here.
I am in a listen-only mode today. 33 till?
Yes, 33 to 44, please.
Thank you, Prabhu. Text 33. Maitreya went on. Thus, having spoken to Kardama Muni, the Lord who reveals himself only when the senses are in Krishna consciousness, departed from that lake called Bindusarova, which was encircled by the river Saraswati. Text 34. While the sage stood looking on, the Lord left by the pathway leading to Vaikuntha, a path extolled by all great liberated souls. The sage stood listening as the hymns forming the basis of the Samaveda were vibrated by the flapping wings of the Lord's carrier Garuda. Text 35. Then, after the departure of the Lord, the worshipful sage Kardama stayed on the bank of Bindu Sarovar, awaiting the time of which the Lord had spoken. Text 36. Swayambhuva Manu, with his wife, mounted his chariot, which was decorated with golden ornaments. Placing his daughter on it with them, he began traveling all over the earth. Text 37. O Vidura, they reached the hermitage of the sage, who had just completed his vows of austerity in the very day foretold by the Lord. Text 38 and 39 together. The holy lake Bindu Sarovar, flooded by the waters of the river Saraswati, was resorted to by hosts of eminent sages. Its holy water was not only auspicious but as sweet as nectar. It was called Bindu Sarovar because drops of tears had fallen there from the eyes of the Lord, who was overwhelmed by extreme compassion for the sage who had sought his protection. Text 40. The shore of the lake was surrounded by clusters of pious trees and creepers, rich in fruits and flowers of all seasons, that afforded shelter to pious animals and birds, which uttered various cries. It was adorned by the beauty of groves of forest trees. Text 41. The area resounded with the notes of overjoyed birds, intoxicated bees wandered there, intoxicated peacocks proudly danced, and merry cuckoos called one another. Text 42 and 43 together. Lake Bindu Sarovar was adorned by flowering trees such as Kadamba, Champaka, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Asana, Kunda, Mandara, Kutaja, and young mango trees. The air was filled with the pleasing notes of Karandava ducks, plovers, swans, ospreys, waterfalls, cranes, chakravakas, and chakoras. Text 44. Its shores abounded with deer, boars, porcupines, gavayas, elephants, baboons, lions, monkeys, mongoose, and musk deer.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice description of Bindu Sarovara. How beautiful it must be. The surroundings definitely influence our consciousness. If the surroundings are very clean, very tidy, then our mind is also more stable and we will be able to focus and meditate nicely. So currently, however, but we are living in towns and cities. We are not living at Bindu Sarovara or any of the forests. So we have to see, like, we have to transform our own home into nice place. Have that altar, create that nice mood, nice ambience for the devotion. And this place is called Bindu Sarovara because the tears. You want to mention, Madhu?
I was just saying some devotees have Bindu Sarovar like setting. Ujjwalani Mataji has a little pond in her house. She grows lotus flowers in there. Did you know?
Really? So we must go to Ujjwalamani Mataji is actually, she's due for a meal, hosting a prasadam meal for a long time. Because it was COVID for last 2 years. We didn't get an opportunity.
In Hindi,
now,
Prabhuji, sorry, in Hindi, the phrase is "mauke pe chauka." When there's an opportunity, you score. That's what you have just done.
Yeah.
Mataji mentioned actually several times.
You can come anytime, Prabhuji.
Anytime, I'll come with Madhav Kumar Prabhu minimum.
Yes,
So he will be my good company. So
Yeah.
we will do some chanting at Bindu Sarovara in your
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
And you can
When-
also feed us nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the lotus flowers comes, yeah, I'll call you then.
When the lotus comes.
I hope
So-
that's not in 1 in 10,000.
No, Prabhuji. It'll be in a couple of months. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I had the pleasure of visiting Mataji, beautifully set up garden, like a terraced garden with a pond and flowers. Nice setting. Definitely a place to go visit once.
Yeah, Mataji likes flowers. For those who don't know about Ujjwalmani Mataji, she does the garland service and flower bouquet decoration, altar decoration with flowers. She does it. Mataji does this. Mataji orders flowers and she does this wonderful service. I think this job is waiting for you in Goloka Vrindavan, ready there, Ujjwalmani Mataji. So whatever we do, this service will be available there.
Thank
That
you.
is-
I'll be happy there.
No,
Prabhuji.
we all will be. Whatever we are doing, so if we are hearing Krishna Katha, we get an opportunity to hear Krishna Katha in the next life. Definitely, 100%.
I hope so. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
Mataji. So let us know when the lotus are going to come, and then we will fast that day, before that day, and come to your place. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so that was such a beautiful place, and actually it is called Bindu Sarovara, as we mentioned. The tears from the Lord, the Lord tears fell down. Lord shed these tears, and the tears fell in that place, in that river Saraswati, that portion. And that's why it is called Bindu Sarovara, drops of tears. And why? He was so out of compassion, looking at the sage, out of compassion, Lord shed tears. And in this place, Kardama Muni was just after Lord had departed, just waiting, for Swayambhu Manu to come there, because that's what Lord had mentioned. And one thing that really, struck me was text 34, I think. While Lord was leaving that place, and he was leaving on Garuda, isn't it? Sitting on Garuda, you see, the sage stood listening as the hymns of forming the basis of the Samaveda were vibrated by the flapping wings of the Lord's carrier. Okay, so the Samaveda is formed with the sound of flapping wings of the Garuda. That is Samaveda. So he heard that. Okay, next we will read from text 45 till the end of chapter. So another 5 minutes, you probably will complete the entire chapter. So I request other devotees to stay. Let's see, who should we ask the final one? Bhuvaneshwari Mataji. Okay, Mataji. Kamal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Bhuvaneshwari Mataji, yes.
Yeah. From text 44.
45, please. Yeah.
Text 45 to 47. Entering that most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, the first monarch, Swayambhu Manu, saw the sage sitting in his hermitage, having just propitiated the sacred fire by pouring oblations into it. His body shone most brilliantly, though he had engaged in austere penance for a long time. He was not emaciated, for the Lord had cast his affectionate sidelong glance upon him, and he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moon-like words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large like the petals of a lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhu Manu approached and saw him to be somewhat soiled, like an unpolished gem. Text 48. Seeing that the monarch had come to his hermitage and was bowing before him, the sage greeted him with benediction and received him with due honor. Text 49. After receiving the sage's attention, the king sat down and was silent. Recalling the instructions of the Lord, Kadamba then spoke to the king as follows: delighting him with his sweet essence. Text 50. The tour you have undertaken, O Lord, is surely intended to protect the virtuous and kill the demons, since you embody the protecting energy of Sri Hari. Text 51. When necessary, you assume the part of the sun god, the moon god Agni, the god of fire Indra, the lord of paradise, Vayu, the wind god, Yam, the god of punishment, Dharma, the god of piety, and Varuna, the god presiding over the waters. All obeisances to you, who are none other than Lord Vishnu. Text 52 to 54. If you did not mount a victorious jeweled chariot, whose mere presence threatens culprits, if you did not produce fierce sounds by the twanging of your bow, and if you did not roam about the world like the brilliant sun, leading a huge army whose trampling feet cause the globe of the earth to tremble, then all the moral laws governing the varnas and ashrams created by the Lord himself would be broken by the rooks and rascals. Text 55. If you gave up all thought of the world's situation, unrighteousness would flourish, for men who hanker only after money would be unopposed. Such miscreants would attack, and the world would perish. Text 56. In spite of all this, I ask you, O valiant king, the purpose for which you have come here. Whatever it may be, we shall carry it out without reservation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So yeah, just another couple of minutes, we'll finish this discussion. Yes, so Swayambhu Manu, along with his wife and daughter Devavati, arrived to that place, and and that Emperor Swayambhu Manu offered obeisances to Kardamuni. Kardamuni was a Brahmin, and so he offered his obeisances, and so for a Brahmin, there is no need to offer obeisances to a Kshatriya. But however, Kardamuni also offered obeisances to Emperor Swayambhu Manu. Prabhupada writes that king is a representative of many, like is a representative of the Lord. That power is there, so one must offer obeisances. And so after offering obeisances to Swayambhu Manu, Emperor Swayambhu Manu, Kardamuni then glorified the king. So king is the Lord's. He represents Lord's protecting energy, and if there is a proper ruler, everything will be in disorder. So the leader should be there. There should be a leader. We all know that if there is no proper leader, everything will be chaotic. There should be a controller. And then he says that you are like demigods, like all these demigods. They come from actually they're empowered. They're empowered incarnations of Manu, I guess. So like or Yama, Indra, Surya, etc. They actually or the portions of Manu, I guess. He is compared to various demigods, and then like this he glorifies, because you're a king, you're touring all over the place, and without you, religion will increase. All that thing he glorifies, and then he says, whatever it may be, tell me the purpose of your visit. We shall carry on. So that's where the chapter ends. And so in summary, there was initially a discussion or inquiry from Vidura to tell more about the Kardamuni, Devavati, and their children. And then Kardamuni, Maitreya started narrating that Kardamuni went, he was son of Brahma, he went to the bank of river Saraswati, performed austerities for 10,000 years. and meditating on the form of the Lord. He saw the Lord after the meditation, and he offered prayers. And then he said that, my Lord, I am looking for a suitable goal for a marriage, because my father had instructed me to populate. And that was your instruction. So indirectly, I'm trying to fulfill your instruction. And then Lord says, day after tomorrow, Emperor Swayambhu Manu will be coming with his wife and daughter, and he will hand over his good, beautiful daughter Devahuti, and she's just the girl, of the type of girl you are thinking about. And then you will produce 9 daughters, and I will, as a 10th child, I will appear in her womb through you, and I will instruct her in the devotional service. Then you will leave home and perfect your life. After that, Swayambhu Manu arrived with his daughter, and he offered his obeisances, and in turn, Kardomuni also received them very nicely, and Kardomuni glorified Swayambhu Manu and asked him the purpose of his visit. That's where the chapter ends. Hare Krishna. Randhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Sorry, we went over a little bit.
No, thank you.
So it's good to conclude the chapter. And also in the beginning, we had to give a little bit of summary because it's been a while, and so there was a bit of speed required.
Thank you, Prabhu. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Everyone. Appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.